Well, now it's time for one of my favorite segments, Career Academy. Could you guess who we are having on the show today? Well, let's find out.
My name is Victoria Musyoki. I'm founder and CEO Kiddy World, and I'm also an author of kiddie journals and adult journals called Bongo. I started creating the journal in 2020 during the pandemic time. That time I was locked up with my children a lot in the house for a long time. I have 2 children, where Jaden is 10 years old and Amani is 7 years. Yeah, thank you. So my kids do art. They draw. And during that time, Amani, the youngest, the one who is 7 years old, told me, Mom, you know, what if I sold my art, you know, for money? Can I buy marshmallows? And that time I wasn't buying the marshmallows. I was just buying what was essential. And every time they would go to the supermarket with them, I would go to the supermarket with them. I would have them sell their art while I shopped. And as they were selling, every time when we drove back home, they would tell me the plans they had on what to do with their money. And I would journal for them. I've always journaled for my children since they were babies. And I thought, how about creating a journal where they can, you know, write for themselves these dreams that they are having. So that's how Bongo Journals was born. I was creating it for my children first. I will tell you what the contents are, but before I tell you, I want to give you a background story of how it has evolved. So when I started, I had created just for Jaden and Amani, my children. And over time, other parents saw it and they were interested in the same resource for their kids. So I developed one that could be used by other parents. Then I gave it to 50 people. Then you know, and during this time, I was at the same time doing a lot of research on how to develop such a resource for children. And every time, you know, whatever I learned, I put in the new version. Then I gave it to another 100 people, and I was constantly collecting feedback. And eventually we settled on one that a lot of parents have approved and love and use all the time. So some of the contents, the key thing with Bongo Kiddie Journals is we want to teach children those skills they need in life but might never learn in school. Things like financial management. Talking about money in a lot of our homes, even forget schools, is taboo for most people. And you know what taboo means? Like, people barely talk about it. And it's important. If you look at a lot of our struggles that we are having, a lot of us, it's not like we don't have money, it's the money management. We don't know how to use money. And I want to help children create the right habits about money from an early age, from just the pocket money they get from their parents. I want to teach children to be grateful. So there are sections where every day children write, you know, what they are grateful for about that day. I want to teach children to learn how to journal. Children nowadays have stress. You were telling me before we started recording that you have stress, you get stressful moments. And sometimes you probably are not able to talk to your parents. Some children probably do not have a parent to talk to. And even if they have a parent, maybe when you want to talk to your parent, on that day they're probably at work, or he came home late and it was really pressing and you need to let it out. Writing it down helps, will help the same way talking to someone does. So we are helping children to learn how to journal from a very young age. So basically it's learning and even to manage their times, to to set goals, the important goals on their lives, goals about relationships. We are helping children learn what are the kind of relationships they need to have and what will they do to build those relationships from a very young age. So ideally, most children are new to journaling. You know, I'm sure when did you start journaling? How old were you? At 5 years old. You're among the few who started early in life. Most children will probably start at about 8, 9, 10 years. And for them to learn how to journal, they need to see their parent doing it. That is how the adult journal came about. But then the adult journal is created specific for adults. So it's got a planning section for a whole 6 months. It's a 6-month journal where they get to plan for the next 6 months. It doesn't matter, they can start anytime. They don't have to start in January. Most people start in January, which is a good thing, but you can start anytime to plan for your life. So they get to set goals on the most important things in their lives, be it financial. And when your children get to see you doing it, then they will do the same. So it doubles as a journal as well as a daily planner. I set up for parties that involve children, parties of all sizes. So we have the big bouncing castles, we've got the small bouncing castles, we've got slides, we've got rock climbers, we have choo-choo trains. We have the little chairs for kids and tables where we set up for whatever theme of the day. So if your child likes cocomelon, we have a cocomelon bouncing castle. You know, we have light blue chairs. We will do a cocomelon setup such that if children walk in or anyone who walks in can tell today it's cocomelon, it's a cocomelon party. So we do parties of all sizes. It could be 10 children or 1,000 children. We will still manage, yeah. We come to you. If it's a home, we will come and set up at your home. Some people will rent a space at a restaurant. We will set up. We recently set up for Stanchurch Marathon. So wherever the marathon was happening, we set up there. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. So we have different sets. This yellow is different from this yellow. Let me pick one more. So we have these two sets are for adults, and these two, the one I'm holding and the one you're holding, are for children. So these affirmation cards are, a lot of times our brains like to tell us negative things. And we can teach ourselves to say positive things about ourselves. That's what I'm doing with the cards. So if we can open, we can just read some of the messages. Like, we're helping children to think positive, to think the right. Like here, the card says, I will never give up. So they're just positive reminders for children. They can stick on their books. What does it say?
I enjoy eating vegetables.
I can imagine. This one says, I have the power to make my life what I want it to be.
I read and write very quickly.
Yeah. So they're important reminders. You can stick them on your bongo journals, on your school books, so that whenever you're beating yourself up and telling yourself how slow you are, you remind yourself,